Now, a proud partner of the Clydesdale Media, this is the Type 1 Lifting Podcast. All right, guys, welcome to a new episode of the Type 1 Lifting Podcast. I've known this gentleman for, like 8-9 years roughly. He's a CrossFit athlete and dad, Chase Smith. How's everything going?
It's going great, man. Appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, we've known each other since pretty much CrossFit Free when you were a coach there. But before I want to talk about CrossFit or anything like that, I know you're kind of like a newish dad. So I kind of want to talk about you being a dad and, you know, how's it going being a dad and like what were like the oh shit moments that you've kind of learned being a dad?
No, yeah. So our son King just turned one. He turned one Christmas Day.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so he shares, his birthday on Christmas as well as my brother. So it's kind of funny. My brother's birthday is Christmas Day as well. So he shares a birthday with my brother. So that's great. But overall, like, I don't know, man, it's been incredible journey, honestly. Just kind of watching him grow and develop as a human. You know, he's like starting to have, like, before it was, he has to have things, right? It's just basic survival. But now it's like he has wants, like he wants certain things and he doesn't want certain things. So his personality is growing, and it's just incredible to kind of see.
Yeah. So when he was first born, like holding him, what was like going? Do you remember like what was going through your mind when you were holding him for the first time?
I don't honestly. Honestly, it was so overwhelming at the hospital being there, and just like making sure he's all right, making sure Heather's all right. So it was just very overwhelming there, and the nurses just coming in and out. Yep. So you're just seeing a new face like every hour, and they're throwing so much information at you. It's so like hard to kind of settle in and appreciate the moment. It wasn't until like I got home and I sat in the couch and it was just him and I. Heather went into the other bedroom, and it was just like that, I don't know, instant connection where it was like it was real for me at that moment. That it was just like, you're my human, basically. So it wasn't until I got home where it was like really hit me hard, like hey, I got you, like you're my guy.
Yeah.
But it was just so cool when he was first born. They NICU took him just to check on him, make sure he was all right. He had a little fluid, so I walked over there, and it was just like immediate eye connection. It was just incredible. His eyes just kind of locked in on me, and that was a really cool moment for me with him. So yeah, it's just like little things now. It's really trying to be appreciative of the little things, and it's just so funny because the things you're seeing, you went through those experiences, but you never appreciate them. So like it's really cool to kind of be almost on the outside of his growth and witness like the things he's realizing, the things he's learning. So that's I'm super excited for that and for him just to be there to kind of give him guidance, but to, learn on his own at the same time, and go through those experiences. So I'm excited for that to come.
Yeah. The thing with like being at the hospital when like when you have your firstborn or like when you have a newborn, it's like you get no sleep. Like you said, because there's like millions of like nurses coming in, medical assistants, like anybody, and it's just like just leave us alone. Just like
seriously, like in the nicest way possible.
Give us like half an hour. Like I don't care. Like just whatever. But yeah, it's fun. I mean, I have a 6 and a 2-year-old, a 6 and a 3-year-old. So it's
okay.
So I have the oldest one's a boy and the youngest one's a girl. So it's been an adventure with two. So. And it's pretty cool. Like we had when I had my gym in my basement, he was so little. Like I had the barbell with weights on there, and so he would hold on to the barbell, and I would pick it up for him. And like he was like, this was when he was like 3, and he was like now he was like trying to pick it up and just thinking he's strong enough to pick up the barbell.
Dude, that's exactly how he is right now. He's 1 year old. Like like Heather worked out every day since she was pregnant. She was always in the gym. So around loud music, around weights, kind of slamming, and he would go with her, when he could, and sleep during classes. It just because everything was so normal to him.
Yeah.
But like now that he's like so mobile, like because we have the home gym in the garage as well. If there's a barbell that has weights, he'll walk over and just like hold it or stand up on it. He has a little barbell, kind of with like foam plates.
Yeah.
That he can like play with. He's actually like starting to lift it a little bit. It's incredible. And then of course I already got him an actual barbell, so he has to grow into that.
Yeah.
But he's so active. He just wants to be involved. And anytime like if Heather brings him to the gym, he's like in it, trying to crawl all over the place, cannot contain him. When we're home, same thing. We can't contain him in the garage. He just wants to be on everything or do whatever we're doing.
Yeah. It's like those kids that you see like when they're older and in a CrossFit gym and they're just like dangling and swinging on like the Olympic rings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I can imagine King later on, like down the road, just like that.
Oh man, I'm so excited. But either way, whatever he wants to do, but still, like I hope he does get into it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Very cool. So what was I know you lived in New Hampshire for a little while before you moved to Texas. So what was your upbringing pretty much? Were you pretty active in sports?
Yeah, I was pretty active for the most part. Like I always out playing ball, or I was just always outside. So I would say for the most part, I was always super active. I kind of lived in an upbringing with my grandparents. My grandfather was kind of my father figure, and he set me up for success in that sense with, we had a built-in pool. He built me a half basketball court. We had a trampoline always in the back. So it was just, he almost like basically built me a playground at one point. So I was always outside being active, nothing else or I knew nothing else, whether it was like games inside or watching TV. Being outside was a normal for me. And then growing up, getting older, being able to play sports. I tried a few things. I tried hockey. I tried basketball, soccer. But football was kind of where I fell in love, for sport wise. And I enjoyed basketball, but I kind of just found my place in football.
Very cool. Very cool. So when did CrossFit come around?
CrossFit came in when I graduated college. And CrossFit, like, I didn't know anything too much about it, honestly. Like I would see people in school, like do I didn't know it was CrossFit, but they were, doing that kind of stuff with like kipping pull-ups or like burpees and other movements, all like kind of just cycling through things. And I didn't know what they were doing. It was just something that was not normal to me. And then a buddy of mine was doing CrossFit, and he would just talk about it nonstop. Anytime he would visit me at school, or if I'd come home and see him, he was just always talking about it. And I didn't say anything about it. It would literally just go in one ear and out the other. I didn't care. I didn't care for it.
Yeah.
Or did I understand it at the time? But it wasn't until I graduated. And I'll be honest, I was a gym rat. Like I loved working out. I enjoyed being in the gym. That was kind of my lifestyle. I just wanted to be there. But I went to the gym and I literally was like miserable. Like, I don't want to be here. Like, I don't. So I called up my buddy. I'm like, hey, what are you doing? He said, I just got to the gym. I'm like, is there any way I can come? He's like, you got like 15 minutes. So I literally left everything like at that gym, like plates on the floor, plates on the barbell, and I just left immediately and rushed over there. And at the time they were doing, and this was a Saturday, so at the time they were doing 2 workouts on Saturdays. And I forget, it was like kettlebell swings, running, and rope climbs. And then there was like a power clean, jump rope after that. And I just remember going home and passing out on the couch. Waking up the next morning though, and I went back and signed up. I was hooked.
Yeah.
like I've, obviously played football all the way up, from middle school all the way through high school. And then I did some semi-pro when I was in college. So I was always active in the scene of football growing up. But I don't think even football never made me feel that accomplished, if that makes sense. I felt like I could do anything at that point. I really felt like I truly was testing out my full potential in something that was physically active. So that's where I was just hooked. So I just started doing classes, and then I found out you could do this as like a sport. And I'm like, what do I need to do? So at the time I was, working my day job. So I'd go there at like 5:15 in the morning, work on the things I need to work on. And then I go back there at 4 and then do my second piece just to like improve and hope to be close to this sports side or try to, pursue it. That being said, like I remember working out, daily and every day or like every other week, it'd be like 129 days to the open, 79 days to the open, 52 days. I'm like, sweet, man. Awesome. Good for you. Like I had no clue what the open was. And it wasn't really until like the second week that I understood what it was. Because I did the first workout week 1 on the night it was released. Because I didn't know any better. I was like, yeah, I'll do it. Sure. And they were doing it. They were releasing on Wednesday. And it was really cool, like the announcements and stuff like that. So I did the workout, and it was, what was it? It was the snatch ladder, increasing weight, 30 reps, and then decreasing in burpees. So you would do 50 burpees and 30 snatches, and 40 burpees, 30 snatches at a heavier load, and so forth. And you have so much time to get as far as you can. And I remember there was like 5 or 4 seconds left, and like I just stopped and collapsed to the ground. They're like, what are you doing? You could have got like 1 or 2 more reps. I'm like, I'm tired, like I'm dead. But I didn't understand what it meant, right? Like it meant something in a sense of like placement, helping your affiliate out. I didn't know that. I didn't know there was like you got points or anything like that. So it wasn't until like really week 2 where I kind of understood like how much this means and it could contribute to, an affiliate or any gym. So I was like, all right, let's go. So, I redid workouts, came up with different game plans, and, sometimes I think I did the last one. It was, it was 13.5, where I did it literally 3 times just because I wanted to help the gym out. They were pursuing to go to regionals.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do anything I could for them to help them get there. And then we ended up qualifying for regionals that year for the first time. And I was stoked for them. And then they asked me to be on the team, and I was blown away. So it was very surreal, because I never dreamt of that. I never was doing it to, be a spot on the team. I was just doing it to solely help them out. Mm-hmm. So it was really cool to be a part of that for their first year, and obviously my first year.
Yeah, very cool, very cool. And when did you realize, I mean, this is like all in a 1 year, like probably less than a 1 year span of you.
Yeah, so I started in 2012, and 2013 was my first open, and that was the first year we qualified at free for regionals.
Yeah, very cool. Now, regionals back in the day, that was at the Reebok facility, correct?
Yeah, outside, man. Badass. That was an unreal experience. And I feel bad for those that couldn't experience that. When we were forced to move inside, I feel bad for those that weren't able to experience the venue at Reebok, because it was a different environment. Yeah. To be outside, and the spectators and your friends, your family, they were so close to you. You could feel the energy. You could hear them. So it just I don't know, brought you to another level. You know, it was definitely a different experience from going from outside to being inside.
Yeah. Now for the listeners, this is in the Northeast region. So where
Yeah.
where we did where the regionals for the Northeast, it was at the old Reebok facility in Canton, Massachusetts.
Yeah, and at the time it was only the Northeast.
Yeah.
Right. There was no super regionals where it was the East and whatnot. It was just only the Northeast. So a little bit, tighter of individuals and teams of who could actually compete against each other there. So it was, as they switched to inside and as they switched into the divisions, it definitely changed a little bit. But overall, I loved it. I wish they had something. Well, now that's getting back to something similar.
Yeah.
But it's definitely something that I'll never forget.
Yeah, I mean there was some cool workouts there, and and being outside in the sun, everyone's wearing shades, and I remember I remember with you guys, I was watching it one year. I forget what year it was. It was like the Max Snatch event. I don't know if it was like 14 or 15.
It might have been. It might have been it might have been 14. Okay. I think.
Yeah.
It was 2013. It was overhead squat from the floor. And then, 2014, it was the hang snatch.
That's it.
I believe. Yeah.
Yeah. Every time I've had a chance to watch regionals, I was making sure like I was watching, CrossFit Free, because like how I met him, I had a 1 month membership to CrossFit Free because I was training at a Air Force gym for a while.
Okay.
And so my wife was like, here, there's a gym like right down the street, and here's a month membership, and just check it out. And so that's how I got introduced to Chase. And me being at the Air Force gym was great. Like we had some like great athletes there, but like nothing like compared to CrossFit Free. Like you guys had some absolute freaks at that gym, and you had
man, they're studs over there.
Yeah, and I'm like one of the workouts I remember it was I think 30 rounds for time or something like that. It was like one power clean.
Holy man!
Push-ups and like the med ball, wall balls, and I remember the head coach of the whole gym was like, "All right, you guys are doing 275," and I was like, I couldn't fathom like doing 225, and I did it for one. I did it for the whole workout, but I'm like 275. That's like nuts. You guys are like power cleaning it, and I'm like, this is what's happening here.
Yeah, that's how my first year there was basically I felt like I was the guinea pig. There was like for a little bit I had to like go in the morning for classes, and I remember Justin's like, all right, here's the workout. We're gonna do 3 rounds. It was like deadlifts, ring dips, running. He's like, oh, Chase, and by the way, you're gonna do 5 rounds. I'm like, wait, what? He's like, yeah. So like I ended up being the guinea pig for a lot of that stuff, but it was great. Like it definitely helped with where I am today, so those guys are awesome over there.
Yeah. So when did you start coaching there?
I actually started coaching after regionals.
Okay.
So after the 2013 season, I started coaching in August, where and it's been amazing. Like that's kind of where everything has kicked off for me in that sense, and it kind of has led up to where I am today because of it. So I'm super grateful for them giving me the opportunity to, and basically taking a chance on me to coach and to run classes. But at the same time, it was, selfish of me I got to learn from them. Right. So it was a great learning curve and learning experience for me to develop as a coach and kind of develop my own style and whatnot.
Yeah, you were my actually favorite coach there. So
thank you.
And so how did you when you first started coaching to when you stopped for a little while, how did you learn and realize this might be a better way of coaching compared to what they're teaching me?
I just took it. I always put myself in other people's shoes, when it comes to running a class, getting people prepped for classes, or when it even comes down to my program, when I program for individuals and affiliates, is is I put myself in the shoes, and I'll never have anyone ever do anything that I'm not willing to do myself. So I really try to break down the day in itself. Like let's take an instance for coaching. My goal is to first look at the day and what we have going on. And then I need to prep. So not like warm up is a warm up, but before that, I still need to get everybody prepped for what's to come, including the warm up itself, right? You have no clue what's going on in people's lives. You have no clue where people are coming from. You don't know if they're just like 5 minutes down the road or they were sitting in an hour of traffic. So getting people slowly progressing into the warm up rather than kind of just like hit the ground running, that's kind of where I learned for myself, like I need to prep my body a little bit, and then I can start to pick up that intensity for the warm up and be a little bit more specific to the movements as that starts to develop. So I more or less just took myself and just try to, give what I also need, right? So I always want to make sure I'd like to think I go over and beyond in that sense. By making sure people are prepped for the movements specifically, start to move / sweat a little bit, and then really break down the movements, right? Instead of just like, say we have burpees in the workout, there's ways to progress for that, push-ups, lunges, squats, and then you go to your step down, step up burpees. And then you can start being a little bit more explosive and dropping onto the body and jumping up, hopefully landing on flat feet. So really just trying to break down the movement into progressions for the warm-up specifically, just to get them ready. I've used myself as, just like everyone else has sometimes, I use myself as a guinea pig, and have figured out that there's more to the warm-up than anything. Like, that's really the make or break I find for classes, and really sets affiliates apart, and then also sets individuals apart. It's just solely like, what are you doing for the members? It's not just about giving just a few people some cues and hitting the start clock and saying time when it's up. It's really kind of getting that connection, but making sure people are able to come the next day. That's what I want. I want to see everyone every day. If regardless of what you have for a membership, awesome. I still want to see you as much as possible. I don't want you to have to take time off because of something that happened on my watch, or even outside of it, outside the walls. If I can improve you inside, there's a good chance you'll have some improvement on the outside when it comes to anything that you're doing. For me, for my members, people are more likely to get hurt outside my walls than they do inside.
Yeah, I do remember one time there was a gentleman squatting, and I think it was like trying to get to like a 1 rep max or something like that, and he was struggling for like that last rep, but then he wanted to add more weight, and like you specifically said, like, no, like, you're done.
Oh, dude, I have literally no issue with raining on people's parades.
Yeah.
Like, I will be very blunt when if I don't see anything that's going to improve you, or if like there's any risk of injury, like, I'll stop anyone.
Yeah.
And honestly, and I do that for myself as well. Say if I'm coming back from an injury, or there's something that's just been not working for me, I typically, and I tell my members this, is take the week you feel good, take another week. There's no harm in taking that next week.
Yeah.
There's a chance, right? Not saying it's going to happen, but there's a chance that you could end up, injuring it again, or just not improving as quickly as you'd like. So that's the biggest thing is for me personally, when I'm feeling good, I take another week off from that date. So that's what I have my members do, the same thing. If there's anything that's kind of aches or pains, and you don't lose. You can lose, but you're not going to lose a single thing. Just taking that precaution, basically.
Muscle memory is a great thing.
Yeah.
Very cool. So, obviously, like when you started in 2013, if you look at your profile in CrossFit.com, you've like grown. You've actually steadied, like, going up in the rankings during the Open and regionals and stuff like that. So what was the switch? And
Just all ego, man.
Oh,
That's that's right. That's something that you just always chasing greatness and trying to beat yourself. But yeah, it's been a tough climb, right? It's every year your goal is to improve, right? So it's regardless of the program you follow in that sense, you still need to put the work in. You still need to have your proper progressions, and you still need to learn from the previous years. Mm-hmm. So that I've benefited from the experience that I've had in that sense of, weaknesses and things I need to develop. And obviously it helps to have a coach, right? To see that, like, it's very hard to do this alone. Mm-hmm. It's almost impossible. Yeah. It really does take an army, a community, a team, or whatever you want to call it, to accomplish these goals, especially in the sport.
Yeah, I agree. So I know, since you said, you're better off training with other people, I know Tasia Pasevich was working out at CrossFit Free. So when did she come about, and was working out with her kind of helping your game out and kind of vice versa?
Oh, for sure. I don't know when. I can't remember exactly. Maybe I think it was 2015.
Yeah.
Like end of 2014, end of 2015, when she came in, and it was super beneficial to have that caliber of an athlete in there to push. There was always be that back and forth. There was never just like a constant chase on either end. Mm-hmm. It was always back and forth. And I'd be lying if I didn't say I didn't improve having her there to chase after. She was a phenomenal athlete. She is one. So I was very grateful to have someone there to push in that sense. And we had other great athletes there as well, to put. It was a stacked roster in itself. For the guys, we had Juan, we had John C., we had Joey. So JP, he was another guy that was he's a good friend of mine that kind of went back and forth for a while. And that's what allows me to kind of chase after. Like, I love the chase. I don't want to be in front. I would rather chase, just to kind of see the potential, see where I need to kind of pick up, and just learn. That's the biggest thing. Mm-hmm. And it's awesome to have this experience, but I would be lying if there would be sometimes like I wish I was starting from square one and I knew nothing, like a blank slate. Yeah. And just like I didn't know when to kind of ease off, and I just kind of went, red line a little bit on some things, just because that's when you kind of make those progressions, you make those gains, is pushing yourself rather than knowing, and you start to kind of ease off a little bit because you know what it feels like, that experience. So I wish I had some of those days where I just kind of forget everything and just go.
Yeah. Well, and it is pretty cool to be like the fittest in New Hampshire for like a couple of years in a row.
Yeah, that was another thing. That was an ego thing, right? To be the best in New Hampshire. And I wasn't willing to let that go.
Yeah.
That was a big thing that I kind of chased after, and I enjoyed it. It was fun. And again, it was another thing that it improved Free, right? Like, that was my home. That was the first place I've ever been. It was the only place for a while that I only went. So I would try to do anything that, yes, I benefit from, but would also benefit them and improve them. Yeah. So chasing that title was kind of a must for me. And if I was still up there, I promise you I'd be still chasing it.
Yeah, very cool. So in, I know 2016 you were, I'm going to do a little ego boosting for you a little bit. So,
okay.
So in 2016 you were 11th worldwide in the Open, and then you placed second in the region. So, and I believe you didn't move forward, I believe, to the CrossFit Games because you had like a pec injury or something like that. Was that it?
In 2016, no, 2016 was the year I tied for the games.
Okay.
And I lost a tiebreaker based on their rule at the time. It was your highest placement. and I think I had a fourth and Alex had a second.
Oh, that's right. Yep. Okay.
So I lost the tiebreaker on that one.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, it was definitely devastating. For the same time, like looking at it, like I wasn't supposed to be there. Like I wasn't supposed to be in that position. In 2015, in training, I ended up tearing my chest. But it was like a minor tear. It wasn't anything that required surgery, just required time off. So that was a tough one to swallow because it was my first year qualifying for regionals.
Yeah.
Actually, it was my second time qualifying as an individual, but my first time accepting it in 2015. So it was a tough thing to like, I literally waited until they called my heat to withdraw. Just because I was in denial the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
But, and then 2016 is kind of, I made a stamp for sure. I did really well in the open. And like I said, I didn't expect that. Or like that was never a goal of mine to do that. So it was really cool to be there. And then, when I got there, and it was just an amazing experience. And like I said, I would never have guessed, or did I plan on potentially qualifying my first time ever being at regionals. Mm-hmm. So it was just super cool to be in the running and have the possibility. So yeah, I don't know. There's obviously things you can look back and wish, because I think I was like 0.03 seconds away from like actually having it. So, and it was just, I think like a slight hesitation during the rope climb or something, or it could be in any workout.
Yeah.
But it was a really cool regionals for me, not for the whole tying purpose and doing as well as I did, but there was a lot of things that I conquered, like that snatch ladder. I remember in training, I could barely hit 245. So to be able to clear the ladder was amazing. It was, and then so my fourth place finish, right, my highest placement, what was actually my worst workout that I did in training. It was the handstand walk, and then it was overhead squats. It was rowing, burpees over a box, and then overhead squats to close out the workout at a heavier weight. And in training, that was like by far my worst workout. Even going into it, Brandon was talking to Jason Layden, and beforehand he was like, I'm super concerned. Chase is concerned about this workout going into it. And I absolutely crushed it. And I did really well. And that's where I actually had my highest placement. So it was definitely a shocker.
Very cool.
And I did make some adjustments, honestly. It was like last minute adjustments. I broke up the handstand walks a lot more. And then for some reason that day, just overhead squats felt phenomenal. And they usually don't. I don't know if it was just the environment, the energy. I was just, we're, I think 2 days in. So I'm just like opened up more. I don't know. It was just, but it was awesome. So that year it was definitely upsetting, but overall a great experience, man. I had a phenomenal time, conquered a lot of my downfalls and all the things I was concerned about. So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, very cool. So did you get a little bit more recognition after that regional workouts from like other athletes to kind of have you or them come up to train with you?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, for sure. Like our Saturdays blew up, obviously, Monday through Friday it's a weekday. So, but we did have some like new athletes want to come up and train during the week. So we probably, got like 3 athletes that wanted to come up and train with us. And then, like I said, Saturdays, that was kind of like a competition Saturdays, and it would be like 20 and 30 of us sometimes. Dang. It was, yeah. And it just continued to grow. Like more and more people just wanted to come up and train with us. So, and I loved it. It definitely pushed me. Dude, I don't want to lose my house, right? Like, there's no way in hell I'm going to let someone beat me in my house. So, it was great to have people start to come up and be the person for them to chase.
Mm-hmm. Now, in 2017, they had the notorious ring dips.
Yeah, dude, come on.
So yeah,
Yeah.
so I mean, obviously, like watching you, you were like right next to Matt Fraser and doing ring
Hmm.
dips and just tore your pec. Like you were on the ground grimacing. So like, what happened before it even happened, and like what was going through your mind after?
I have no clue what happened beforehand. I know I remember the moment, the rep, what it felt like, what it sounded like. Uh, but before, man, I felt great. Like there was no signs of like, hey, maybe you should ease off. Like, or hey, this does feel off. I was plenty warmed up. Um, so I felt fine going into it. I really did. And it felt so good doing the workout, being kind of in the lead the whole time. And I felt great. Like I remember running back to the rings after for the 15s and just having a huge smile on my face. Like just felt really good.
Yeah.
And then on rep number 13 is when I felt it. And that was like devastating. That was like my world crashed upside down, sideways. Like it was like a car wreck. I was almost in shock. Like I wasn't in pain. I was literally just in shock because I felt it and I heard it and I knew what it was. And I just didn't know what to do. I was hysterical. And, I remember going over to Brandon and I'll be honest, just literally crying in his shoulders. Like it was a tough pill to swallow just because I know how hard I've worked and I know how hard others have kind of supported me and worked with me and sacrificed to help me get there. So it was devastating for myself, but, for others, just, thinking that I let them down. So it was tough, man. I was kind of lost after that. I'm not going to lie. I just didn't know what to do with myself.
Yeah. So
I felt great.
yeah. So what I've heard from other people, they said that pretty much, for that regional workout, that a lot of people were like overtraining the ring dips, which caused, a lot of, because there was like 3 other people in that region that popped their, pectoral muscle.
Yeah, there was a lot of us. I think there was like 38 total.
Yeah. So do you think it was because of like you guys overtraining or
No,
no?
I think it's 100% what it was paired with that day. And let me rephrase that. What was previous? The workout we had weighted chest to bar, we had weighted handstand push-ups, and then air squats. I think it was like 10 rounds. I forget, but it was those movements. And I think it was with the weighted vest, the handstand push-ups, and the pull-ups being that combination, just kind of overstretching the chest. And I say that solely because Alex Vigneault also had to withdraw that year, and he tore his chest. He also mocked the day. So he didn't, it's not like he just did that workout. He literally tried to do regionals for a mock regionals weekend. And he started out with that 10 round workout and then rested how he normally would, like our 2-3 hours. And then he went and did that workout. So that's just another reason why, I think that's why we all tore. It's just the combination of the day. I'll tell you right now, I never overtrained ring dips. I think I did the workout once, but like I would just train ring dips the same way I would train anything else. I never like overtrain that. If anything, I thought it was a strength for me, for many things, shoulder pressing and ring dips and push-ups were definitely my strong suit. So if anything, I don't think I trained it enough, but not overtrained it. I really just truly believe it was just the combination of the day and how it played out.
Yeah. So after the injury, like I know you posted a couple pictures back in the day of like pretty much doing a lot of legs or like banded marches and stuff like that. So like, what was your mindset throughout like the whole like injury, trying to recover and trying to like get back to where you were?
Injuries. So those are almost kind of they were like a blessing in disguise. And I say that because it taught me to be, so it made me a better coach because it allowed me to be creative and learn that there's always something you can do. No matter what, there's something you can do. And it might be boring for a while, it might be, tedious, and you might just have to keep on doing it over and over again. But you're in the long term, you're going to benefit from it rather than just not doing anything at all and feeling bad for yourself.
Yeah.
So I would YouTube things, I would Google things, and just find ways. And then I would kind of like Mickey Mouse things together to do certain things and focus on different variations so I could kind of keep my sanity. So yeah, it was just, I had to be creative. I had to learn things. I had to learn new ways. And like I said, it's a little bit of a blessing in disguise. Trust me, like if I had the option, I wouldn't have to go through it. But it allowed me to be a better coach in the long run, to help others that may have something that's very similar, or it's just something completely different. And I need to allow them to continue moving, right? They want to be there.
Yeah.
There's no reason why they can't be there. We just have to do something a little bit different and something that's along the lines with the stimulus that we're looking for. So I enjoyed that side of it, I guess, if anything. If there was any enjoyment out of being injured, it was just learning new ways, learning new things, and just trying to be creative to make sure when I was ready to come back, I wasn't starting from square one.
Very cool. So what made you move down to Texas from New Hampshire?
My wife, my lovely wife, right? She's honestly the sole reason why I'm down here. It was kind of just a leap in a sense of faith, because I didn't have to come down here. It wasn't because I had a job or I needed to relocate. It was just, she was down here and I had nothing to lose in that sense of leaving. I've been in New England my entire life. And I've had chances to leave, but I've always been too scared. I'll be honest. She kind of gave me that strength to take that leap of faith, and I haven't looked back, man. I've loved it. I love being down here, and I really don't miss anything of New England other than the trails. Like I love to hike.
Or snowboard.
And I really, yeah, like, no, dude, I love snowboarding when I was in college, but I'm okay with not doing it.
Yeah.
I do not miss the shoveling or going out, 30 minutes early to start your car.
Yep.
None of that stuff. But yeah, that's the only thing I really miss for the most part. Like I still can see my friends and talk with them. I can still see my family. I'm not losing them. I might not be able to see them as often, but it's been an amazing journey, and I'm truly blessed to be down here and grateful for everything that's kind of come my way, since I've been down here. So I absolutely love it.
Yeah. And you went back to coaching in a box, and then you got involved with jump ship training. So how did you get connected with the team over there?
I honestly just reached out to Seth. I know his wife, Danny. I've, not like trained with her a lot, but I've worked out with her, because we all started out with Red Line. So, we'd see each other once in a while. But I kind of just reached out to him on a whim, because I wanted to not really follow like so much of a program, because I've kind of developed my own style and in ways of how to properly progress and development and whatnot. And also it really just comes down to the client or the affiliate that is what they're looking for. So every box, every individual is going to be different in that sense. But at the same time, Seth and I like to say are very similar. There's the way he views things and progresses is very similar to how I would and I view things. So and then after talking to him, I just knew it was a great fit. Like it was the right move to do. So hiring a coach or working with a coach, it was something that was just allows me to be accountable, on things, but it also just takes the stress off my plate. Like, I don't want to have to worry what I'm doing tomorrow.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to program my week. Like, I don't want to have to, figure out my progressions. Because as much as I would like to say or think that I am, I'm probably going to be a little bit biased.
True.
As much as I'm like, there's no way. Like, I'm going to do the X, Y, Z. I know I need to work towards this. But am I doing enough towards it, right? Am I doing just enough to like say I'm doing something, or am I actually doing enough where I'm actually going to benefit from it and see some improvement? So working with Seth, that just allows me to, hey man, you steer the ship basically. You tell me what to do, I'm going to do it. I'm going to trust you. I'm all in, and it's been awesome. I've loved it. He's been an awesome guy to work with, super helpful, and he's definitely putting me in situations that I know I wouldn't put myself in.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. So so you're currently coaching at the box that you're training at too, right?
Yeah.
How's that going?
It's awesome, man. I love it. It's a amazing community. So I coach at Black Iron CrossFit in Frisco. The owner, Mike Manning, is an awesome guy. He's so genuine. He's all in on you. Like, it's tough to say, man. He's just someone that will go over and beyond. Mm-hmm. Even if like you don't ask, you don't hint towards it, it's just something that's in his nature. He can like read minds and just knows what you need. And he's there for you. So it's absolutely been a blessing to be there and have him allow me to be part of the team and really kind of lean on me to have a bigger role there. So it's been super grateful to be there, and I'm blessed to kind of have the opportunity to continue to grow. And I love it. Like, it's definitely different than being at Free in coaching, in that sense of I have a little bit bigger of a role here. Mm-hmm. But it's just a different environment as well. Like, it's a little bit smaller of a gym. But for the most part, it's just like, I don't know, the members are awesome, but like the structure of how Mike has things running and operating, it's just a joy to be there. Like, it really is. And I look forward to it. And I've never been really a morning guy, and I am now. Like, I wake up every day at 3:30 a.m.
Oh, God bless you. I wake up at 4:20. I thought that was early.
Yeah, no, I'm up at 3:30 because I need to eat. So yeah. I eat something, and then I'm out the door by like 4:15, 4:20 to get there for 5, and to get the first class going after that. So, yeah, and that's also kind of selfishly preparing myself for my son. Mm-hmm. When he starts getting into sports or whatever activities, I want to make sure I'm spending the day with him versus, losing that time with him.
Yeah, I agree. I work a 9-to-5 job right now, and it's like I have to like beeline it to back home from Atlanta to where I live up and coming just to make it to a soccer practice.
Yeah.
So, and it's tough. So, I mean, I completely understand where you're coming from. So, I mean, I wish I could do early mornings, but, unfortunately I can't. So.
And then bless those people that work out at that time.
Yeah.
And I can, maybe I could do 6:15 and working out, but 5:15, those guys are a different breed.
Yeah. I mean, they're double, for me, like, a scoop of pre-workout, let's go. Just like,
yeah.
Just go with it. Because, like, for me, that's the only time I can work out, because
okay.
If I get home at like 5:15, and it's like I'm not going to spend an hour at the gym and not spend time with my wife and my kids, pretty much,
Yeah.
So. Yeah,
no, because that's what I would do. I'd come home. I'd get home around like 2:30. I'd eat something real quick, and then I'd go and work out at 4. And then there's just no way I'm going to do that, because then I'd get home at like 6:30.
Yeah.
And there's just, that's just not where I want to be. Because I told my wife, Heather, I'm like, hey, I want to make a run for it. I want to, like, I know I'm capable of doing it. I know I have the abilities, but I need to go in. And she's like, to what I need to do. So she's been supportive from day one of that. But I also told her, I'm like, hey, but I need you to kind of keep me stable. Cause I know me and my personality with this is I will go all in and I'll neglect other things. And I don't want to do that. I'm not going to neglect her. I'm not going to neglect my son. I want to be here for them. I want to support them. I want to, be here physically, emotionally, mentally. So I made it very clear. I'm like, hey, if you see me doing anything, if, neglecting me being a husband or a father, I need to know.
Yeah.
Because I know I'll lose myself. I'll just go in it for training, and that's kind of where my focus point is. So she's kind of been my rock on that for sure.
Very cool. Very cool. So we're getting close to the end of the podcast. So I have a couple, it's not like rapid fire questions, but just
okay.
I typically ask everyone. So obviously it's a new year.
Yeah.
So what are your goals for the rest of the year? I know you talked about making a run for it, but do you have any other ones at all?
Other than, like I said, I want to make a run for the games. I feel like I'm in a good position, and I have a good leadership for that with Seth. So I'm looking forward to the Open and hopefully next steps after that. Goals in that sense, other than that, nothing that really off the top of my head. It mostly, I would say, with coaching and building the affiliate that I'm in and other affiliates I program for is just kind of building them and making sure I'm accomplishing their goals, right? So that's why I'm in it. I would rather other people achieve their goals, and I guess in hindsight, that's me achieving my goal. So
very cool. Very cool. Okay, so do you have any plans of doing any competitions other than the Open?
Yeah, I actually have TFX coming up. It's the Fit Experience.
Okay.
I guess it's the biggest comp in Texas, for Texas, I guess. So I ended up, I was able to qualify for that, and I head down actually the last weekend of this month.
Okay.
That's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday comp.
Yeah. Did you try for Wadapalooza at all?
No, I didn't. So that's what Seth was asking. He asked me if I would do Wadapalooza or TFX. And I said TFX just solely for travel, with my son being a year.
Yeah.
So I just didn't want to and Wadapalooza so long. And I loved it. When I would go to Wadapalooza, it's an amazing event. It's so much fun there, being whether you're an athlete or a spectator. But right now, with the position I am with my son, I decided I told him I would do the TFX, and that's it.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I commend you for doing that. So that's awesome. So do you have a favorite book that you like to read or give out as a gift?
A favorite book.
It could be a biography or nonfiction, whatever.
Honestly, it's old, and I don't know how much I would look at it now, but I really enjoyed the Ronda Rousey, her book. That was motivating in that sense, and it was something that kind of I connected with pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's anything, that's something that I would look into.
Okay, very cool, very cool. All right, what's in your gym bag?
My gym bag, dude. What's not in my gym bag? I have literally everything in there that keeps me put together. So I have my belts. I have 2 belts that I kind of carry around. I have Element 26 and Tupu, and I kind of switch back and forth depending on the workout and the lift that I'm doing. I have my hook grip knee sleeves. I have my Element 26 hand grips for all my gymnastics work, which, dude, those, if you're not on those, and this isn't a selling point, but they're phenomenal.
Are those the rubber ones?
Yeah,
I want to try them. They've sold out.
They're an absolute game changer. I'm not going to lie. And Phil, if you listen to this, man, he sent me a pair. I'm like, I don't know what this is. I actually let a member use them before I tried them. I'm like, hey, I just got these. You can try them out. And he was a big boy. And he's like, dude, these things are insane. I'm like, no way. He's like, yeah. And I put them on and I hopped up. And it has been a freaking game changer. Like, I feel like I can never come off the rig. I feel like I can just do endless amount of pull-ups.
God, I gotta get them. I gotta get them.
Dude. And like I said, I don't get anything out of it. I'm like, these, and basically everyone in my gym almost has them. Mm-hmm. They're that good. And no one believes me until they try them. So I promise you, man, if you don't like them, I'll take them. And then I have my sweatbands because Texas weather, man, it gets hot down here.
Yep.
I have my shoes, my Nanos, and my weightlifting shoes, and then my thumb tape. I use the Jaybird thumb tape. You get it off Amazon, and you get a pretty solid pack for what you buy. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's basically I think I have like a couple like children knee sleeves that I put on my ankles for when I do my rope climbs. But yeah.
Very cool. So if you had like an unlimited amount of like sponsors that you could pick from, which one of them would they be for you? Just
unlimited amount of sponsors. Just one?
Like one out of like this whole list of like of sponsors. Which one would you pick and why?
I think Noble for sure, with their like how much they've advanced for clothing wise. But I don't know a company that I can think of that has like that I'm really a big fan of that has everything kind of a one size fits all with like shorts, shirts, sweatbands, belts, tape, all that stuff. So I just love the Noble shirts, honestly, that I'm a big fan of. So I guess, yeah, probably them.
Okay. All right. What would you tell somebody that's trying to get into CrossFit and maybe make a run to the games, what to expect?
Be ready to do the non-sexy things. And what I mean by that, man, everybody wants to do the cleans, the back squats, the pressing. It's the little things that make the difference. It really is. It's the session work. It's the recovery stuff you do. It's the non-sexy things. It's the tedious, boring things that nobody is willing to do, but it's the most beneficial. If you want to make a run for it and you want to stay in this game long, it's something that needs to happen. I remember when I got injured, I had 365 days to improve. But can you spend that day? Like, can you spend that time? It takes a lot to mentally give it an entire year towards that. It takes a lot of sacrifice. It really does. I remember like I would have family that would fly in that I haven't seen in like 2 years. And it was either seeing them or training. And I chose training. They understood and they were supportive, but you have to be willing to do that kind of stuff. You have to be willing to kind of sacrifice your time. And what's a little bit more important, is it, going out, having a few drinks with your friends, or is it going to bed at 8:30 and getting your sleep that you need? So it's just be ready to work. That's what it really is. Like, you don't have to do these 3-hour sessions, but you need to put the work in. You need to give the intensity that it deserves, that what it calls for, right? Everything should be different and everything should have a different stimulus. So if you're following a specific program, it should have a progression and build out for that kind of stuff. So yeah, just be ready to work and have the non-sexy things kind of be your go-to versus everything else. Because if you can improve those things, all those other bigger lifts and the sexy things that everybody likes to post and see will only benefit.
Yeah, very cool. So let's just say you stop doing CrossFit, you're like almost at the last leg of like dying. How do you want people to know you as?
Someone that's like willing to help in that sense, because that's kind of what I've chose for the path of myself. Like I've chosen to be someone that helps someone achieve goals or improve on certain things, or just have an overall better way of life in that sense. So I would like people to think of me that I'm willing to help and I'm willing to put the time in for them, regardless of what that means. So that's kind of how I view myself, and I hope people can perceive me as that.
Very cool. So where can people reach out to you if they have any questions about like jump ship or like, black iron, CrossFit, or pretty much just you in general?
Instagram or Facebook works. If if you wanted to email me, the simplest email that you can remember is my first name, Chase, and then at blackironcrossfit.com. So that's another way. But Instagram and Facebook all work. I'm actually back on it because I did take some time off from that stuff.
How was it? How was that, by the way?
It was great. Honestly, like at first I thought I would be missing things. And come to find out later on, like, it took me 2 months to respond back to you. So I was missing out on things. But I'm not upset about any of it. It was just something that it just kind of hit me actually driving in at, 4:00 in the morning, that it was just like, it was November 1st. And I remember looking at the date in my car, and it just made me think of like the dates when we had like 11, 11, 11, 12, 12, 12. Like, it just made me think like, we're never going to have this moment back, right? I'm never going to have November 1st, 2021 back. It's a moment that I'll never have. So it just made me think about my wife. It made me think about my son, that I needed to value my time with him versus what was going on in social media, or making sure I'm up to date on, events coming up, or if someone's reaching out to me, I wanted to make sure I'm giving them that time versus others, right? So they need to be my priority. So that was just something where I was just like, it's not going to kill me. It's not the end of the world if I take this time off. Like, I'm not missing anything. If I really am, like, someone will reach out to me that's close to me through my phone, via text, via email, phone call. So it was just something that I really wanted to do, and I just did it. I was like, that's it.
Very cool. Well, I want to thank you for coming on. I mean, I've been a big fan.
No, I want to thank you, man.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
I've been a fan since I met you at CrossFit Free, and I really do think, like, every chance I see you on social media or like on regionals or something like that, like, you're the guy that I root for. And I really do think that I really do think that this year and maybe next year or whatever, like, I do think you have the potential to even make it.
Appreciate that.
So, and I root for you all the time, like I said, and I hope you get there. And
thank you.
Just get the chance to walk in the arena and just like experience like everything that's going on.
Well, if I do, you got to have me back on so I can tell you about it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I always try to get everybody back on. So.
Cool.
All right. Well, thank you very much for doing this.
Thank you.